I don't know about you, but I love a good bargain. So when Tarte had their Build Their Own Bundle sale in May, I jumped on it. I got $198 worth of product for $69. I am going to show you what I got, put them on my face, and let you know what I thought. I'm also going to incorporate some of the other Tarte products that I've already had in my collection and do very nearly a full face of Tarte Cosmetics. Hi, I'm Tina. Welcome to my channel. First of all, just real quick, I want to run through the products that I got in the sale, and then when I put them on, I'll tell you more about each one. The first is the Shape Tape Cloud Coverage Foundation. This has an SPF of 15 in it. It is a mineral sunscreen that's titanium dioxide, and I got it in the shade 16N Fair Light Neutral. Secondly, I picked up a blush tape. This is a liquid blush wand, and the color is Rose. I've been wanting to try these, especially after I picked up the e.l.f. Pout Clout Lip Plumping Pen. This is the Maracuja Juicy Lip, and it is in the shade Fig. The Tartelette Tubing Mascara has been intriguing to me. I love the Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions and the e.l.f. Lash Extender Tubing Mascara. I've tried some others that claim that they're tubing mascaras, but they don't come off like tubing mascaras. So I'm interested to see how this one stacks up to the other two. The Tarte Shape Tape Stay Spray. Try saying that 10 times fast. This is a 16-hour setting spray, and because I do have oily skin in the summertime, especially here in the Midwest, heat, humidity, I definitely need a long-lasting setting spray. And then you could choose a palette, and I did the High Performance Neutrals Positive Vibes palette. I don't know if everything from Tarte is vegan. Tarte is cruelty-free, but all of the products that I got are vegan, and that is especially important to me for eyeshadows because I developed a carmine sensitivity about a year and a half ago, and had to go through and ruthlessly declutter my eyeshadow palettes because I had to get rid of everything that had carmine in them. Unfortunately, when I get something new, especially in friend mail, don't always check before I use it. And today I used a Charlotte Tilbury quad that I got from a friend, not realizing that it has carmine in it. And so my eyes are a little upset with me. They're not too red, thankfully, because I only worked a half a day and I came home and washed my face immediately. But I do need to learn this lesson because this is not the first time this has happened to me. So if you think my eyes look a little red or irritated, they are. This one, however, is vegan, and so we're good. I don't have a Tarte primer, so I just used this one from Catrice. It is the Mattifier Oil Control Primer with Evermatte and Willow Bark Extract, and it has had plenty of time to sit in, so we're going to go right in with that foundation. I didn't really think that I had much from Tarte, but when I went through to pull products out so that I could see what I could fill in with, I had more than I thought. I pumped out one pump onto my makeup palette, and let's dab it on. It is kind of moussey feeling. That's a good way to describe it. I am going to do one side with a brush and one side with a sponge. Tarte says that this is a light to medium buildable coverage foundation that gives you flexible coverage with a natural matte finish. The shade might be just a little light, but I think it's okay. The color I have it in, as I said, is 12N Fair Light Neutral. You can see that it is not a runny consistency at all. Tarte also says that it smooths and blurs, that it's crease proof, and it has an SPF of 15. I think that that is really pretty on my hand. Here's the other one. Okay, I think that's really pretty. I do think that it is kind of a light coverage, maybe light to medium. Here's the side with nothing on it, and there's the side now. A brush usually gives you more coverage, so I'm expecting the sponge to be even lighter. We'll see. I do have my sponge dampened here. I feel like this is a foundation you're going to want to work quickly with. It feels like it wants to set down pretty fast. I have this red spot on my forehead, and I don't feel like it's done a whole lot for covering that. So we probably are going to try to build this up just a little bit in a couple of spots. This is the sponge side. and the brush side. I feel like it just really melded with my skin really nicely. That was one pump, and I do feel like I would like a little more coverage in certain areas, so we're going to put another, maybe half a pump, and then I want a little bit more through my cheeks, on the sides of my nose, and I kind of didn't have any in the middle of my chin. So let's blend that with the brush in those areas. I'm going to feather that into my hairline a little bit. That is really pretty, I think. Okay, other side with the sponge. We'll do a little bit more through here, and let's see if we can cover up that spot a little bit. Oh, and just a tiny little bit more on the side of my nose. If this oxidizes at all, then this color is going to be really good for me because it's a little tiny bit light, but I think it's fine. Even if I put it on with a brush, I always go over it with my sponge just to blend it and make sure that there's not extra sitting on top of my skin. So I did that here too. I do agree that it is buildable, and I think it gives a really pretty soft matte finish. I don't feel like I'm flat matte. There's a little bit of a sheen there, but not like glow or glass skin for sure. Usual caveat, if you have dry skin, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but on my oily skin right now, I'm really loving it. It feels just a little tacky on the brush side, but there's probably a little bit more there. So I'm going to leave it be for a second, and then I'll let you know if it dries down all the way. It would be great if I didn't have to set this with powder. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so this video really is going to be more about first impressions and not wear time. I can update in a pinned comment about how it wore, for the next 6 hours or so, and then I'll probably have a chance to wear it for a full day at some point during the editing and uploading process. I can let you know how it did in a full day, but I think it looks really pretty. One of the products that I already had in my collection is this Tarte Sea Hydra Sealer. This I do not see on the website any longer, and I actually dug this out of my declutter bin. So there was a reason I didn't like it, but at the moment I don't remember what the reason was. It's in the shade 12N Fair Neutral. So I'm just going to put some on and see if I can remember why I decluttered it. Okay, it's a little light, so that might have been why. I like to tap my concealer in with a finger. The warmth of my finger, I feel like, helps the concealer to meld with my skin. And I don't blend it in all the way. I kind of let it sit a little. And then grab a concealer brush and just kind of lightly blend with that. This helps to remove excess product, which is what likes to get down in your creases and settle in there. All right, I'm not sure what I didn't like about that, but I think it's sitting pretty well on my skin. I feel like it's really light coverage though, so I want to see if I can put just a tiny dot right there where I have a little extra darkness and see if I can get that to be a little more camouflaged. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I think I will see if I can find somebody who has less to cover than I do, because I do think that this could be a really nice concealer for someone who just needs a light concealer. Another product that I already had in my collection is the Amazonian Clay Bronzer in Park Avenue Princess. I believe that this came in an Ipsy, and I had this in my Panning Cats and Dogs project, and as you can see, there is little tiny pan right there, so that's pretty exciting. I put on a little of the City Lips Plumping Gloss because I always like to have something on my lips when I'm doing my makeup. At the time of filming, they have a buy one, get one free special on this, and there is an affiliate link and a discount code down in my description box if you would like to use that to save even more on some City Lips Plumping Gloss. I really like this gloss. I've been playing a little bit with bronzer placement, and it never made sense to me that bronzer was supposed to give you a sun-kissed glow, but then we put it in the hollows of our cheeks. But I was also lazy and I didn't want to do both bronzer and contour, so I just did it that way. But I've been playing with putting my bronzer more on the high points of my face like it's supposed to, based on a video that I watched from Jen Phelps. I will link that down in the description box below if you haven't seen it, but I have been really enjoying how it looks. So with this look, you go into your bronzer and you just sweep it across your cheeks on the high points as if you had been out in the sun. And I think it just looks really pretty that way. And then when you put your blush on, you do just put your blush right over the top of it and it kind of peeks through. I do have to be really careful not to get too much. I am pretty fair skinned, and if I do too much, it can look like my face is dirty. Not what you're wanting. Then I put just a little bit up here on my forehead because if I'm out in the sun, I'm going to get sun on my forehead. And even though I wear bangs, the wind blows them, it moves, and I think it just gives a more finished look to do that. Now, if I want to contour and sculpt out my jawline, I can do that with this, but a lot of times I just have been leaving it or using a true contour shade, which is a little bit of a gray shadowy tone. And now I'm going to put on the blush tape. Tarte says this blush tape will give you a dewy color. It has diamond powder for a soft focus glow and porcelain flower that brightens. This says to twist, to unlock it, and twist to lock. I don't really like this kind of component. I think it's messy. You squeeze it and the product comes up, and then you can dab it on. There's the color. This color, like I said, is rose. And it does look really pretty, especially for spring and summer. I like to use a stippling brush when I put on a liquid brush. This one is from Coastal Scents. I am going to do that on one side, but first I'm going to just blend it in with my fingers and see how that works. So I'm going to put that here. So right now, the big trend in blush is the boyfriend blush. And I haven't actually tried it on myself, but I'm not really wild about it because to me, it does kind of look like you were just out running around and it was really hot. But I do also kind of like bringing the blush just a little bit more forward on the cheek. And I just went in with just a little bit more on my finger just to build that shade up a little bit. Something I look for in a liquid blush is, does it disturb my foundation? And is it easy to blend, or does it dry down so fast you don't have time to work with it? So far, it doesn't seem to me that this one is messing with the foundation at all, and I have had time to blend. So I think that's really pretty, and it does have kind of a little bit of a sheen there. All right, so let's do the other side. And I'm going to blend this side with the brush. I like to just stipple. If you do have a blush that seems like it wants to mess with your foundation and kind of lift it up, often I will find using a brush helps with that. Sometimes it's like everything wants to stick to your fingers when you're using your fingers, but a brush can kind of keep the foundation where it belongs. That was super fast and really easy, and that's a really pretty color. So like I said, this does have the open and close. You want to make sure you close it before you put the cap on. Otherwise, if you squeeze it, it's going to all come out. I need some eyebrows. I'll be right back. The eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using is this Positive Vibes palette, and it is just these beautiful rosy neutral tones. As you can see, it is a 9-pan palette. There are 4 mattes, 3 luster shades, and 2 shimmers. There are the swatches, and I love that there is a good mix of light, medium, and deep shades, as well as a mix of cool and warm tones. The other 2 Tarte products that were already in my collection are eyeshadow palettes, and I have this Tarte Gilded palette that is just a beautiful, stunning collection of warm and berry tones. And then the Tarte Unleashed, which was part of their Young, Wild, and Cruelty-Free. And these smell like vanilla. They smell so good. Again, this one is more of a warm palette overall with a little bit of a pop of color over here with the blues. I primed my eyes with the Ulta Matte Eye Primer in Nude. I have a primer that I'm using in my Out the Door in 24 project, but it does tend to give a little bit of a warmer tone to the eyelid, and I am going to try to stay with some of the cooler tones in here this time. So this gives a cooler overall tone to the eyelid. This one is the color Peace, and it is the light matte transition shade color. And this I'm just going to put kind of all over the lid and a little above the crease, pretty much from the bottom of my orbital bone all the way to the lash line. This mat is pretty dusty. I don't know if you can see the kick up there in the pan after doing both of my eyes, but you might want to tap off the extra, especially as we get into the deeper colors, so that you don't end up with a lot of fallout. To deepen up and redefine the crease, I'm going to go into Thoughtful. It's a little bit of a cooler tone than Happy is, but again, there is a lot of kick up, so be really careful with tapping off, especially if you have your base done first, like I do. With this one, I dip in kind of right on the end and then put that brush right in the crease and below. I want to see the color a little above the crease, but not as high as I took that transition shade. But I do want to open my eye occasionally and make sure that I can still see it. And then I'm also putting it in the outer crease area. Just kind of dabbing and then blending with circles a little bit. I don't want to swipe and pull this way because I don't want to get any of the color down below that lash line. For the shimmer for the outer part of my eye, I'm going to use Grateful. This is what I would consider one of the luster shades. It's not super foiled. There's no chunky glitter or anything like that in it. So I'm going to put that on and actually do about 3/4 of the eyelid with that. And that's really pretty. If you are a little bit hesitant about putting shimmer on your eyelids, these luster shades are really nice because they're not like bam in your face shimmer. I am going to use a flat shader brush for the other side and see how it does with a brush. And I just pack it on and then press. Usually I find that a brush doesn't give you as much impact as your finger. So again, if you don't want a lot of shimmer, you can control that by using a brush. Hopefully you can see that the side I use my finger on has just a little bit more sheen than the side I use the brush. If you want to amp it up a little, you can put it on your brush and then take a setting spray and wet it just a little bit. And usually that will give you a little more pop. Love and Vibes are the two shimmer shades. So I'm going to go into Love and put that on the, ooh, that is very shimmery, yes, on the inner portion of my eye and onto the center there. That has a lot of pop. And I also kind of felt it fall on my face. So let me grab a brush. That actually might be a shade you want to use a glitter glue for so that it stays better, but I think it's good. To brighten up the inner corner and to use even more shades out of the palette, I want to go into Vibes with a tiny little pencil brush and put that in the inner corner. I have a lot of darkness in my inner corners, and so I like to use a brightener shade right there. Even if it's not like all the rage anymore, but I still like it. And just for fun, and like I said, using more of the shades, let's go into Uplifting. It is a shimmer, but I'm going to use it out here to deepen up this outer V area, just right here, kind of along the lash line. Just give it a little more drama. I didn't want to go into Happy because it's a little bit warmer and it would lose some of the rosiness. And I didn't really want to go into the brown either. This one I thought was more in the same tonal family. So, and then what's left on the brush, I'm just going to connect the lower lash line, what's going on there. And I am super happy with how that eye look turned out. It was very easy to blend and the shimmers are super pretty. I don't have any Tarte eyeliner, so I'm going to use my BH Power Pencil in medium brown. And the foundation does feel still just a little bit tacky, but I still don't think I want to set it. I'm going to leave it alone. The only other Tarte product that I have that I didn't show you is the Amazonian Clay Blush in Party Dress. And I'm not going to use this because it is a pretty warm shade, and I don't want to get that in this cooler tone. I do feel like the rose has pulled a little bit warmer on my face than it looks on my hand. Can you guys see that? And I'm not sure why. But especially against this cooler toned eye look, I think that the blush looks kind of warm. The fifth product that I got in this kit is the Shape Tape Stay Spray. And I have to say it that carefully, otherwise it doesn't come out of my mouth. This is a 16-hour setting spray. It has a microfine mist, and it claims to make your makeup waterproof, sweatproof, and transfer-proof. It also says that there will be no matting, cracking, fading, or settling, and it has a cucumber and aloe scent. I am not sure I love the scent of the setting spray. It's very cucumber heavy, and it's kind of a fake, almost medicinal cucumber. Not sure I love that. Get it dried down most of the way and then just press with my sponge. I like to put on my setting spray before I do my mascara so that the setting spray doesn't re-wet the mascara. If that happens, the combination of the length of my lashes and the kind of recedingness of my eyes and overhang of my brow bone causes me to have little dots all along my brow bone. So it's always a good thing when I remember to put on my setting spray before the mascara. The tubing mascara claims 24-hour flake-free, smudge-proof, and sweat-proof. The wand is very similar to both the Thrive and the e.l.f. tubing mascaras, and it claims to give length, volume, and curl. It also contains shea butter and castor oil, which are both very good for your lashes. I have curled my lashes, so let's put on some of this. The stopper seems to do a really good job of cleaning the wand without over cleaning it. So hopefully I won't end up with mascara everywhere. I always put on my upper mascara first and then my lower, and I'm trying so hard to reverse that because I found if I do the lower first and then the upper, I'm much less likely to end up with mascara everywhere. But I'm simply a creature of habit and I cannot manage to get it reversed. So the other thing is I'm not sure if I ever will, because when you first take the wand out of the tube, it has the most product on it. And I don't want to put that on my lower lashes because we'll get too much there. Well, I guess I just have to be more careful. Or clean it up after. Okay, so that's one coat on each eye, and I should have showed you one coat before I did the other eye, but I was busy talking and I forgot. So let's do 2 coats. It went on really easily. I didn't have to spend a whole lot of time building it up. And because it's a tubing mascara, it's supposed to come off with warm water. So again, I will update in a pinned comment on how well it removed. And I know it's really boring to watch somebody put on mascara, but for a first time using it, I like to show it in real time because you can see how long it takes to build it up, if it gets clumpy, what I have to do to manage the clumps, all of that. All right, so 2 coats versus 1 coat. I think it did a great job separating, gives length and volume, just like it said. I did have to work a little so that they didn't want to clump up, but I was able to do that, and I think it looks really good. The final new product is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. This was super confusing to find on the website because there's all kinds of Juicy Lip products. If you're looking for this specifically, this one is the Juicy Lip Balm. There's a gloss and a vinyl and all kinds of stuff. The color here is Fig. It claims that it is an all-in-one lip product. It's a balm, a gloss, color, and a hydrating treatment. And it says that the color is buildable. So you click it up and then apply. And there is a small, just back and forth, or you can build it. Now you have to be careful because it is very soft and it can get a little messy, but all of the products that are like this are the same way. So I'm going to remove the remains of that City Lips gloss. I'm actually not going to click up any more than I did when I did the B-roll because I don't want to make a mess with this. I'm also not going to line my lips. Tarte claims that the Cushion Comfort Complex plumps the appearance of your lips. It does not say anything about having any plumping ingredients. There is no petrolatum or lanolin, and it has a coconut scent. I like the scent. If you don't like coconut, you will not like this. It is very coconutty. And I can taste coconut too. So just FYI, if you are not a fan of coconut, you might want to stick with the e.l.f. Okay, I did some fish lips to see if they stick together and give those strings. And with this amount of application, they are not. It does feel a little sticky in the corners of my mouth, but it's very balmy, so that's not surprising to me. And as I'm talking, I am kind of seeing the strings forming in the sides, so I might need to be a little careful and apply less of this. I also feel like it's getting in my mouth. Just for grins and giggles, and because I think these colors are fairly similar, I am going to compare Fig from Tarte to whatever this color is from e.l.f. There is a tiny little sticker on the bottom of this component, and the writing is gray. Impossible to see, but I will look it up on my order and see what it is and put it on the screen. Okay, not as similar as I thought they might be. The e.l.f. is a little cooler and lighter than the Tarte, but the formulas are very, very similar. The thing is with these, when you try to go over them, sometimes it will pick up the color that was already there. So it can be a little difficult to get the color, and this one does it too. It's not just the e.l.f. And I can see that the inside of these caps are going to get really, really messy. You may want to have tissues and wipe off the top of your component before you put the lid back on. The other thing is, something that I usually find myself doing when I put something like this back together is I do this to close it. You cannot do that, because if you do that, you're going to click up more product. So make sure that you're two-handing it and pushing the lid on. And then the final thing that was available in here was a makeup bag. I chose this really pretty lilac purple. It has a middle zipper and a couple of inside pockets. And then there is a smaller zipper on the outside. It's a really nice size, and I think it will hold a lot for traveling. I would not have spent $198 on all of these products from Tarte, but I was very happy to get them for $69. 7 products, just under $70, averages out at less than $10 per product. And if you can get high-end products at drugstore prices and they work like this on your face, I say you had a good day. I am working on an 8-week monetization journey, and if you have a channel or thought of starting a channel, or you're just interested in how YouTube works, then you might want to check that out, and I will put the playlist right here for you. I'll see you in that one or in another one. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.